Imagine almost everything you learned in history class is wrong. Not slightly wrong, completely twisted. Today, we're debunking the biggest myths in human history. Some of these will genuinely make you angry. Stick around until the end, because number one will flip your entire view of the past. Napoleon was tiny. Napoleon was short, an angry little man with an inferiority complex. Wrong. Napoleon stood around 5'7", which was average or even slightly above average for his time. So where did the myth come from? The French used different measurement units than the British. When British propaganda converted his height into English units, a normal-sized man suddenly became a dwarf. The British loved this image so much it stuck around forever. Vikings wore horned helmets. Every costume, every movie, every video game shows Vikings with horned helmets. There is exactly zero archaeological evidence that Vikings ever wore anything like this. The myth comes from the 19th century, when a costume designer for a Wagner opera got creative. The image was so powerful it burned itself into collective memory, even though it's completely made up. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. This myth has survived in textbooks for decades. Astronauts have debunked it repeatedly. With the naked eye, the wall cannot be seen from orbit. It's long, sure, but far too narrow, and its color barely differs from the surrounding landscape. Other, much wider structures, like airports or highways, are actually easier to spot. The myth predates spaceflight entirely and just never got questioned. Einstein was bad at math. This story is supposed to comfort stressed-out students. Even Einstein struggled in school. Except it's not true. Einstein excelled at math and physics as a child, mastering calculus by age 15. The confusion came from a misunderstanding about his Swiss report card, where the grading scale was reversed compared to the German system. A great grade looked like a bad one, and the myth was born. Medieval people believed the earth was flat. This might be the most stubborn lie of all. Educated people had known since antiquity that the earth is a sphere. Greek scholars like Eratosthenes calculated its circumference over 2,000 years ago, with remarkable accuracy. Medieval scholars and churchmen also taught the spherical shape as common knowledge. The flat earth myth was actually invented in the 19th century to paint the Middle Ages as a dark, ignorant era and make the modern age look enlightened by comparison. Marie Antoinette and the cake, let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette supposedly said upon hearing the people had no bread. Heartless, arrogant, the perfect proof of aristocratic decadence. There isn't a single historical record of her ever saying this. The phrase actually appears in writings published before she even arrived in France. It was simply convenient slander at the right political moment. Witches were burned at the stake. In Europe, especially in England and the American colonies, most convicted witches weren't burned. They were hanged. Burning was mainly common in parts of continental Europe, and even there it wasn't the only method used. Columbus proved the earth was round. Columbus didn't set sail to prove the world wasn't flat. Educated Europeans already knew that. His actual dispute with scholars was about the size of the earth. He massively underestimated its circumference and believed Asia was much closer than it really was. The experts criticizing him were in fact right. Columbus just got lucky that an unknown continent happened to be in the way. Gladiators always fought to the death. Dramatic movie scenes constantly show fights to the death in the arena. In reality, gladiators were expensive, carefully trained investments. A dead gladiator meant lost money for his owner. Most fights ended without anyone dying, and gladiators often had surprisingly long careers with many appearances. The biggest myth of all, and now number one, the one that calls everything we just discussed into question. History itself is often presented as a collection of fixed facts. In reality, almost every historical narrative we know has been written by the winners, reshaped by later generations with their own agendas, and distorted through centuries of retelling. The myths we just exposed aren't the exception, they're the rule. Almost every historical fact you were taught in school has, somewhere along the way, gone through simplification, exaggeration, or deliberate distortion. That doesn't mean we can't know anything about the past. It means we should always ask, who told this story and why? If this video got you thinking, drop a like and subscribe, because every week we uncover more lies you've believed your whole life. Which myth surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.